Inside your spotlight this morning, the Honourable Khadijah Ameen, Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, on the phone with us. Good morning to you, Minister.
Good morning to you guys in studio, and of course, good morning to all your listeners, and especially those who are on the road. It is wet, it is raining, and in some areas we have a little flood.
All right. Well, I thank you very much for taking the time to join us this morning. Now, let me jump back to a few days ago. I know that you and your team would have been preparing and doing some flood mitigation. Can you give us a quick update in terms of how the progress was for the last week in terms of preparing for the weekend that we had?
Last week, Tuesday, the Ministry of Local Government launched our flood mitigation program, and it was two arms of the program, which was one, to mitigate floods by clearing watercourses, and to identify shelters for us to have standard operating procedures in terms of when we activate the shelters and to train shelter managers. The flood mitigation arm we launched first, and we had, at the Chaguanas Borough, we had an inspection of equipment at the Chaguanas Borough car park, and we also had a working session with our public health officers who are responsible for the maintenance of drainage, our disaster management units from every regional corporation, together with the manager at our head office, Mr. Jerry David. We had our CEOs and our councillors, as well as chairman of the regional corporation. And we had several other technical officers. And that working session allowed us to drill down into how we were going to, we had already identified the watercourses. We had a list. We had a list of equipment from every regional corporation, as well as from the ministry and the state enterprises associated with the ministry. And so we were able to make a schedule in terms of where equipment will be dispatched, how many days they will work in each area, the removal of the debris from those areas immediately with trucks and backhoes, the use of excavators and bobcats to clean watercourses, and of course a program for manual labor for actual men to go into those areas to remove debris and rubble and so on. And that program started on Wednesday morning. And on Thursday morning, I made some visits with the media to highlight to the country some of the work that was going on in the Sandy Grande region. I went together with the MP for that area, Ms. Shivana Sam. That part fell in the Komoto-Manzanilla district. And we had visits also to Bamboo Settlement number 2, which, as you know, has made the news for serious flooding. So they had some serious watercourses being cleared. That Bamboo is just on the northern bank of the Caroni River and the Waima River, and they are surrounded by St. Joseph River on the west of them. So a lot of water from different directions converge there to head to the Caroni River, and the overflow often affects the residents tremendously. So we continue to the flood mitigation on Friday, and the rains started. We went into the yellow alert over the weekend, and the work continued. And I must commend all our regional corporations who have been out on the ground. Even, I tell you, way past midnight at 2 a.m. in Kelly Village there, we had Councillor Kamla Pagu out there. Equipment was dispatched to her when she identified a serious situation that could potentially cause flooding. And this is a multi-ministry approach. So while you have us in local government responding, we also have our Minister of Works, the Honourable Jolene John, who has had approval from Cabinet for an intense program to deal with the major water courses. And you're talking about the Caroni River, the South Oroput River, the Ottawa River, the North Oroput River, the Caparo Valley area there. And these are some of the most areas most affected by floods over the years. And yesterday she had a team monitoring all these rivers. I can tell you probably for the first time, we had the operator for the pump at the pump before the rain started, before the flood. And to me, that was a relief for the residents of Bamboo. And while this pump was operating from the local level, we were doing what we had to do to ensure that the water courses that take the water to the pump were cleared. Of course, you often have a lot of debris coming down. Some of it is litter. Some of it is natural items such as bamboo and tree trunks and branches and leaves and so on. And it has to be cleared. So because we were already mobilized and on the ground, we were able to respond very quickly. And this morning, we are grateful for the Ministry of Works and the WASA for continuing to monitor those water levels. The Met Office has given us what they will give us the riverine flooding alerts. But based on the water levels, I am urging people, the rain is easing up. We are still under yellow alert, but we have to be very cautious because in several of the areas that are flood prone, the areas surrounding the Caparo River, I understand, is about 90% capacity. The South Oropouche River is at about 70%. In Pool, which is in the region of Mayaro, Rio Claro, they have a very high percentage as well in the 90s, and as well as Upper Ottawa. They have, I understand, in the 90s percentile in terms of the capacity of the rivers. In the El Carmen area, which falls in the Tunapuna region, and part falls over to the Cuba, Tabaqui, Talparo, as you head into El Carmen, St. Helena, Las Lomas areas there, they are impacted by their water course, seems to be very close to 100%. In Caroni, Tumpuna, the Caroni River passes, as you know, Tumpuna, that will impact Tumpuna, Greenvale, and surrounding areas. And that river is also at around 90% in capacity up there, as well as in the Caroni area. I mentioned the Caroni already. In Bamboo, there we are told it's about 70%. Now,
Okay.
This is very concerning, and of course, it means that we are on high alert, and so we have to secure those communities. So our pumps are working. And we are asking residents to let us know, let your councillors, your disaster management units know where there is some reason for the water to be flowing slowly or to be clogged so that we could remove those blockages, because we are fully mobilized. We have equipment on the ground in every single region.
All right, fantastic. I'm really happy to hear about all this work that's been happening, Minister, and of course the initiative of being on the ground immediately, being able to be effective on the ground immediately. You mentioned working, of course, with the various ministries. You're also working with the Ministry of Agriculture, if I'm not mistaken. I saw some reports of farmers who were adversely affected by the flooding yesterday as well.
Yes, our Minister of Agriculture was out in the Aranguez area and several other areas. And the Aranguez area, that watercourse broke its bank. And because I can tell you, a lot of these watercourses, I am amazed. I don't know what used to be happening before. These things require routine maintenance to maintain the banks, to rebuild the banks, to repair erosion, to repair the floodgates, keep them functional, to ensure that the pumps are functional. And in many areas, once that happens, you will not have flood, because once the main river, the water levels start to rise, these floodgates should automatically shut. Some of them, sometimes you have debris, nobody go to clean it, nobody go to check it, and a piece of wood jam the floodgate and the whole community flooding. So if it's functional the way it should, once the water levels rise in those big water courses, the floodgate shuts and you have the water from the rain runoff that will settle. Sometimes we have retention areas. Sometimes we have the drains leading to that major water course. And we have pumps to take the water over the bank. And once those things are functional, you should not have major flooding. And because for the past few years, those things have not been operating the way they should. I mean, we cannot fix 10 years of neglect in 2 weeks, but we are here to fix it and to mitigate as far as we can the effects. We are still very early in the rainy season. We are still in the month of May. And as you know, in July, August, we have the hurricane season. And later on, as the rainy season continues, we tend to have some very intense rainfall. So I am very concerned because of the level of neglect of watercourses that we are meeting. But I want to encourage our local government representatives to continue to be determined on behalf of our burgesses. I have said that rain does not fall red, yellow, green, or blue in every area. When we said everybody wins, and everybody has the opportunity to work with our representatives. I don't want to hear if your councillor is a PNM or a UNC councillor. We have to get the job done. So even in areas where we have other activities, apart from flooding, we have had some minor landslips, some fallen trees, which we also have teams with power saws been dispatched. So I can tell you in Diego Martin region, we had some incidents in La Rufin, in Moruga. We had a fallen tree also blocking a water course that caused about 7 households to be flooded. So those guys are to go in there with the power saws to remove the tree so that the water could flow. In the Tabakit area, we also had some flooding there. So in almost every region, we have been monitoring and giving the assistance and support to the councillors. So it is not that we do not have flood. We have flood, and we are making every effort to mitigate it. Right? So that's the idea.
Thank you very much for that, Minister. I just wanted to find out, as citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, this, like you mentioned just now, this is only the beginning of the rainy season. We have a lot more in store. What can we do as citizens to be able to do our part to help the situation be a little bit easier?
Well, in terms of if you are worried about the water levels rising in your area, every regional corporation has the sandbags. We have shared with you the list of places to collect sandbags. What we also have are NGOs, partner and community groups partnering with regional corporations, working with the councillors to bring sandbags closer to the community. So in flood-prone communities, NGOs and responsible groups can make arrangements to stockpile sandbags in community centers or recreation grounds to make it easier for residents to collect. But we have circulated the list so you can contact your regional corporation. Do not wait until the water levels reach critical to be calling to get a sandbag. Get them now and be prepared because we are seeing the level of rain. And of course, some of these sandbags are reusable, and I urge you, it is better to be safe than sorry. What we must also do is continue to report areas where we have had, it's the same areas that flood all the time, over and over. So where we have situations where you require equipment or manpower to clear water courses, inform us so that we could dispatch our labor, we could dispatch our equipment, but also there are areas where you require infrastructural work. Yesterday we had to get a healthy jackhammer to remove a concrete cylinder that has become clogged over the years. And some of it is work that was not approved. The residents build bridges or, that kind of thing. So we also have that type of intervention going on. So I am urging corporations, do not ease up. This is only the beginning of it. And what we also have at the ministry is we are trying to improve our monitoring. So there is a request for 100 cameras at certain flood-prone areas to monitor the water levels in real time so that we can immediately respond. And as well as, of course, we are prepared with our dinghies and so on. And I also want to commend our NGOs. You have people like Sewa Titi. You have these guys with the boats at the Caroni Bird Sanctuary there who are always on standby. But you know what happened yesterday as well? Several persons who own trucks, backhoes, excavators have been calling to say, I want to volunteer. I am available. Some of them have gone out with their councillors. They are not looking for any sort of recognition or any sort of payment. And I want to urge volunteers. So if once you are willing, you can volunteer. Make sure you are doing it in collaboration with your regional corporation so that we could clear these water courses and reduce flooding.
All right, Minister. Well, let me say thank you very much for the work that you're doing, and thank you so much for taking the time out to chat with us this morning and give us the update as to what's going on. I know you have a busy day ahead, so I'm going to let you go now. And I thank you very much for joining us.
Before I go, I want to thank all of our DMU staff, our local government staff, our CERT volunteers, the general public, our local government councillors, our chairmen and mayors who are out every day, all weekend, very late into the night, into the wee hours of the morning. I really want to thank them for their human service to our country and ask them to stay on high alert.
Thank you very much, Minister. Do enjoy the rest of your day.
Okay.
That's the Honourable Khadijah Ameen, Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, chatting with us to give us a bit of an update as to the Ministry's response to the yellow level adverse weather alert and to the different activities that have been happening in and around the country, from flooding to landslides and all the affected areas. Again, you have to be on high alert to make sure that you are prepared, or as prepared as you possibly can be. Now, over the weekend, lots of things would have been affected by the weather, naturally, right? Some of those things included the UE Open Days. It was scaled down to 2 events. Well, it was on day 2 events only, I think is what happened at the UE Open Day campus, rather than the full weekend of activities that was planned. So I know they would have been affected by it.
Yeah, definitely. They moved everything inside the JFK auditorium, so at least there was shelter for those who were already there. In addition to that, the UTT Aerobathon, who can forget all that incredible energy we had on set, that has also been postponed. So if you wanted to go like me, hey, now you might actually be able to enter. And I believe also Sunday was International Museum Day.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Right, and there were some cancellations on Sunday also.
Yes, the Zoom Museum's toy hospital, you remember that conversation where they were inviting you to the toy hospital, but it's been postponed to next Saturday. So this coming Saturday, you get the opportunity to experience it. It's not been cancelled, just postponed, but you still get the opportunity to go to the Zoom Museum toy hospital, take your toys and I guess get them sorted out, get the surgery.
Have that surgery.
It's just a consultation for this one.
Oh, right, my bad. Consultation.
But the one that was cancelled was Angostura's Museum Day tour. That one unfortunately got cancelled. Hopefully they'll be able to put it on again, because I know that museum is definitely a vital piece of history when it comes to Trinidad and Tobago. We don't realize how important Angostura actually is to general history and putting us on the world map. Anywhere you go in the world, you can find Angostura bitters. Anywhere in the world. They don't even know where Trinidad and Tobago is, but they know about Angostura bitters.
Identifying factor. That's where Angostura bitters. Okay.
Guys, we have a fantastic show in store for you today. I hope that you're able to stick around. It's Monday, so the TTPS is going to be joining us in the form of Inspector Michelle Lewis, so you can look out for that this morning. You can also look out for your birthday shouts. That's coming up inside the next hour. And we will be having some entertainment to close off the show this morning, so stay tuned for that as well.
We're also going to be sharing things to add to your calendar. A brand new Rain Music Festival is happening. Yeah, before the Rain Music Festival. Stay tuned for that to find out more this morning. And of course, as with every Monday, we have some brand new artwork on set. So our resident artist for the week is going to be joining us for a conversation. Looking forward to that one today. Definitely has already brought some sunshine to what is quite a rainy morning. If you would like to get onto the Now Morning Show, send us an email at togetOnNow@ttt.co.tt. That's what you can use for your birthdays, interviews, and anything else you'd perhaps like to announce, within reason, of course. Remember to give us a call at 622-4010. If you haven't saved the number, save it, because you never know when we have a giveaway. And of course, follow us on all social media platforms and stream us at ttt.live.
All right, guys. Well, on that note, we take a quick break and we come back with more on the Now Morning Show. Stay tuned.